Today is a very special day because we have a very special guest with us. I'm so glad that she could be joining me live from LA. Hello, Miss Kelly Price.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going? So glad to have you on our air.
Great to be here today. Thank you.
You know, I'm so excited to be joined by a Grammy nominee, a Soul Train Award winner. You've had an incredible music career. What has been a highlight for you in your professional career thus far?
Oh, wow. I think some of the collaborations I've had the opportunity to do have really been the highlights. Bonnie Raitt in the last year, the second single from her last project, which that project actually won I've not personally won a Grammy for my projects, but with the Bonnie Raitt project, we won a Grammy.
Right.
For her second single on that last project that she did, Slipstream. That was really exciting. The Winona Judd collaboration, the Ronald Isley collaboration. I've had great collaborations.
Yes.
They're fun.
Yes.
Faith Evans, Whitney Houston. I've had an opportunity to work with some really incredible people, and it's not only fun to do what you love with other people who do it well, but it really, I've been honored to work with some of the best in the business. Mariah Carey, Brian McKnight, and the list goes on and on and on. Jay-Z.
Absolutely.
Just a lot of great collaborations throughout my career. So I think probably those have been the highlights.
Yes, and you've mentioned so many of these collaborations, great, awesome collaborations. Who of those people that you've worked with, or even people that you may want to work with, who has inspired your craft?
You know, it's a little bit of everybody, but if I was to take it back to the earliest point in my career, I think as a singer, my grandmother is probably my earliest influence. Mm-hmm. And then following her, probably right after that, it would be my mother, and then Mahalia Jackson, believe it or not.
Yeah.
People like the Clark sisters, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan. I grew up in a family of people that sing, and they have big voices.
Right.
So I was always attracted to big voices. Aretha Franklin, I would be remiss to not mention her. But Aretha Franklin, just amazing. I love big, powerful, strong voices. Even Luther Vandross, just when they open up, they command a room and make everybody stand at attention. So literally anybody that would come, Gladys Knight, just powerful, strong, commanding voices that get your attention and literally can just cut through the air in a room. I think those singers have always gotten my attention first. And then, of course, there are others that because of the nuances of their voices, when you think about people like Anita Baker and those, they might not be, they may not come across like an Aretha Franklin, but they have special qualities that you kind of lean towards, and just different textures. And so I just love singing, and I love singers, and I love all forms of music. So I have to honestly say probably anybody that's ever done it, and I got a chance to hear, I was able to gather something from in some way.
Yes, and I know you're from Queens, New York.
Yes.
And I know you got your start also in the church.
Yes.
How much of your early childhood has shaped who you are today?
Oh, all of it. Every bit of it, I have to say. Even with the other influences that came later in life, I have to honestly say, from being a mother to a wife, singer, songwriter, performer, all of those things were first influence from growing up in the church and being in a family that was heavily rooted in the church. My faith drives my life. It makes me continue to go for things even when they seem impossible. So that, to me, is the driving force of everything it is that I do, all the way down to a career that a lot of people said I should have never had because I didn't look the part. But I had enough faith at some point to go after it and achieve it. So literally every area of my life has been shaped from the church, everything.
And you mentioned some people who have inspired you. I'm curious, what artists are you paying attention to now? Is there someone in particular that you've been listening to on your iPod that you just enjoy so much?
I still listen to a lot of old school music, and I don't consider it old school music, but I guess at this point, with it being 2013, some music that came out in the 90s is considered old school now. But I recently participated in the screening committee for the Grammy Board. I've served on the Grammy Board for several years, and we've just passed the time to screen for music to qualify for Grammy nominations. And so we listened to thousands of songs over the course of 2 days to screen them for Grammy qualification and where they would be placed. And I literally had a chance to, and I know I'm a little late on this, but Macklemore, I just became a Macklemore fan.
Aren't they great? I love them.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And I had to listen to the music to screen it. I'm a Macklemore fan. I think that the music is great lyrically. There's a lot going on. I listen for lyrics first as a songwriter, and I love the lyrical content. There's just a lot going on there, and I love it.
Yes. I'm also curious, there's a lot of singing shows on TV now. You have American Idol, The Voice, X Factor. What's your opinion of these shows, and, do you think they really help develop real talent?
Well, I think that from the performance aspect, they're getting a crash course in what it's like to be a performer, which is not an easy thing. You have a lot of people who are really great singers, but they lack the performance element, and so they suffer as a result of it. Being able to sing doesn't necessarily mean you can get up in front of hundreds or even thousands of people and get that across. And if you have an anxiety about that, people may never know how good you are if you can't get in front of them and show it to you. So from that standpoint, I believe these shows are excellent. I do believe that the artist development portion of it and the baby steps that need to take place in order to set a good, solid foundation is what's missing. The difference in what happens now with this type of thing happening and what happened, versus when I first came into the business, I literally had to learn everything it was pretty much to know about the business prior to getting put on and taking all of the steps. I was a producer and a songwriter and a background singer, and I traveled and I did a lot of different things from behind the scenes that gave me a bit of an education before becoming an artist. In this realm, you're just kind of, once you get put on, that's it. The world sees you. Millions of people see you every week, and you get catapulted into a world where everybody knows you, and you're forced to be something and someone that you never had the opportunity to study or learn. I had the opportunity to study the best. Yes. I studied underneath Mariah Carey. I studied underneath Puff Daddy. I studied underneath Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans and Brian McKnight and R. Kelly and Ronald Isley. And these are people who I worked with all of these people as a songwriter and as a background singer and a recording artist. And so I had an opportunity to travel with them even. So with all of those things, I learned how to be an artist before I became one. The people that participate in these shows, although they get great training ground for performance, they don't have the opportunity to learn how to be an artist before they become one. And so it's a bit of a culture shock. I've seen, for the most part, a lot of them are thrown into a world that is very shocking to them, and a lot of times they don't know how to handle it. But it's still a great opportunity. I think if there was more of a training and artist development aspect that were added to a lot of these shows, that we would see things differently with the artists once they become successful. But, with that, it is what it is. I love it. It's entertaining. You get to hear a whole lot of good singing in a very small period of time once a week. And it's to me, it's a great tool. But I would love to have the opportunity to see these artists be developed just a little bit more so that they can make a smoother transition.
Absolutely. And we're talking about, people who are artists wanting to develop, wanting to break into the industry. We're here at Montclair State University in Montclair, New Jersey, and a lot of students here are trying to develop their craft to get to where you are. They want to break into the industry. They want to be successful singers. Is there one piece of advice that you've gained over the years that has helped you get to where you are?
To be a student, to be teachable. And I realize that now, again, things are very different. We have YouTube and we have all of these other outlets. So while they are on their way to their destiny and they're utilizing YouTube and utilizing other things that put them in the face of the world, because literally you can go from obscurity to being world known in days, if you get enough hits on a site like YouTube. But you still want to be a student of the business. You still want to read, you want to learn, you want to place yourself in the presence of people who have knowledge and who can teach you. Attend conferences if you can get into, conferences like ASCAP and CSAC and BMI, when they have these conferences and they have these networking opportunities for you to be in a room, and there are industry professionals on a stage who are doing clinics, and you can ask questions and learn. Spend money on that. Invest in yourself. We spend money on everything it is that we love. We buy clothes and we buy shoes and we hang out and we go to parties and we do whatever necessary that pleases, our senses. But if it's what you really want to do, invest in yourself. Take the time to learn. Buy the material that you need so that you can read it. And, if it's an online class or whatever, you got to do what you got to do to invest in what it is you want to do with your life. And it's got to be more than just, getting dressed up and going out and trying to look the part. You've got to know what the part is. You got to know the role that you're trying out for. If you were an actor, you would have to study the character and get to know the character so you can become the character. It's not just it's not just looking to be an artist and imitate what you see. This is something that you want to actually live one day. So what you want to do is study for the life that you want to live so that you can step into that role and you already know so that you can't get tripped up so easily. So I say invest in yourself and educate yourself.
Thank you for that. I know a lot of people will definitely appreciate hearing that coming from you. I want to switch gears and talk about some of the things that you're working on now.
Yes.
You are the star of the hit show R&B Divas LA.
Yes.
Why did you decide to get involved with that? What intrigued you with that project?
Well, to be very honest with you, I did it because, again, I take my own advice. I'm a student. And I did the show really because I actually relocated from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I live in Los Angeles now. And I moved here because over the last few years I've written several scripts and come up with a lot of concepts for television shows. And even in the process of trying to pitch shows and read for parts with movies and television, there was a lot that I realized I needed to know about how television is made. And so I have my own show coming up right now, Too Fat for Fame, which is a reality TV show. Doing R&B Divas, honestly, for me, was an opportunity to see how reality TV is made from the inside and to see the good and the bad of it. And from this experience, the best thing that actually has happened for me is that I've had an opportunity to see the way I want to do it and the way I absolutely will not do it. And my own show right now, Too Fat for Fame, is a reality competition type show where people who are actually plus size and have been told no or have had less opportunities to try and jumpstart their career because of imaging in the entertainment business will have an opportunity to do that without having doors shut in their face because they weigh more than the next person. So with me, R&B Divas really was an opportunity for me to follow my own advice and be a student of the business. And so I'm in the process of learning how to make television, and God knows I definitely learned some things about how to make television and how not to make television by doing R&B Divas.
Yes, and speaking of R&B Divas, I know there is a R&B Divas tour coming up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Right now, we have confirmed myself and Faith Evans, Nikki Gilbert along with Brownstone, Kiki Wyatt, and I believe Don Robinson has just signed on, confirmed for the tour. In the beginning, it was supposed to be all of the ladies, and I think that at some point, some of the ladies have decided not to do it. But as many of us as can get out there and do it together, we want to do it. One thing we all have in common is we are all women who sing. I didn't see enough singing throughout either of the seasons, whether it was Atlanta or Los Angeles. So this tour is an opportunity for people to see what it is that they know us for and really love about each one of us, minus, the cameras rolling and any of the editing and any of the television tricks. You literally get an opportunity to see us inside of our true element, doing what it is that we love to do and doing what it is that people have come to love us for. So that's the great thing about the tour. And we kick off in November. Tour cities and venues are being announced. So everybody, if you just keep watching, any of the ladies, if you watch our Twitter pages or our Facebook pages, you can look for Nikki Gilbert, Brownstone, Faith Evans, myself, Dawn Robinson, Kiki Wyatt. With me, I'm Kelly Price on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm at Kelly Price for Real, KELLYPRICE, the number 4, REAL. Just follow us along. And for Too Fat for Fame, if we have any wonderfully talented people who are plus size and you want to know more about that and you are interested in having a career in this business, you can find us on Twitter at Too Fat for Fame TV, and you can find us on Facebook at Too Fat for Fame.
It's great to see all these wonderful things that are happening for you. We love your voice. Are you in the studio writing and recording new music?
Yes, I'm always,
Yes.
always, literally around the clock, year-round. I'm in the studio, in and out of the studio, whether it's for myself or for someone else. But currently, I am concentrating on the next Kelly Price projects, 2 of them actually at the same time. Next year, I will release another R&B album as well as an inspirational CD. So I'm really excited. And great music, a lot of great music and some great collaborations coming for this next project. So I'm really excited. So keep following me, and you'll get insider scoop if you follow me and while I'm in my process.
Kelly, thanks so much for coming. I appreciate you for being here on Silas Live, and I truly, truly wish you all the best.
Yes, would love to come back and do it again. Take care.